Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the video, and today there's been a requested video a bit and what people should pick for their coins, to the two coins that you should get, the unit and the prism, the next era token exchange coin thing, whatever it is. So just a quick thing here. So I've got my, I announced in my community tab, but I do have a clamp, like a desk clamp thing going on. It's gonna be coming on Thursday apparently now. It's pretty quick, and it's one of those things you guys see a lot of bigger YouTubers have. So now we'll be able to hear all my mouse clicking and all those kind of things. I really apologize for that. We'll be able to do all that kind of stuff soon, so we won't be able to hear all those kind of noises. So if you like those kind of things, unfortunately I have to move on eventually. So anyways, let's get into the video. So I went ahead and started. This is just the beginning, by the way. Don't click off just yet. I know it looks kind of like a mess, but I crossed off all. I'm gonna go through all of the units that I've listed on the side of the screen there, but I segregated them into categories. So first of all, here's the first category, and honestly, the only one you should be looking at in this category is probably Folka, and only when if she gets her latent abilities. I don't know when that's ever gonna happen. When she gets her latent abilities, she gets a new move, and also on top of that, she gets some Olympus crystals per turn, which is the same equivalent of what you would need to use for that move that she gets MP to everybody. So she basically gets the same amount of MP crystals. I mean, she gets the same amount of LB crystals per turn as it costs to use the move. So it's self-sufficient. It's rotating like a well-oiled machine, just getting MP every turn, guaranteed. So Folka out of this stash is the only one that I can recommend from this section. Moving on. Next section. Sacred Shield Charlotte, and only because she's getting enhancements now, and also Axstar. We'll talk about him in a second. And also Summer Fina and Lid because of the far future of how good they'll be. So, Sacred Shield Charlotte, I'll be reviewing her and all those other kind of things going on in the near future, like on Thursday, I think. Thursday will be a review on that, and also Elena and all those kind of things. Axstar, only if you think that he'll get latent abilities soon. I don't know when that will be again. It comes at the same time as Folka, supposedly. So I don't know when that's ever gonna happen. And Summerfina and Lid, they don't get enhancements until they get new vision form, apparently. At least on the GB side, that's what happened. So if you want to invest in the long run, Summerfina and Lid is the one to pick, probably. And in the next category, none. I can't recommend any of these units. Sure, Outdoor King Rain is kind of decent for Dark Visions, but I don't think anyone's even doing that anymore. I don't think anyone's even really doing that much anymore. I can't recommend any of these units. And Fistless enhancements, who knows when those are going to come. That's kind of like the only really one I would really pick. Not good enough though. Not good enough for me. So with that being said, I can't recommend any of these units in this batch. Nothing really comes close. Like, you guys gotta remember the cruciality, like the thresholds of what I'm trying to pick here are very crucial. I'm not even making any sense, but like there's a strict criteria. That's what I'm trying to say. Strict criteria. What I'm trying to pick for you guys. What is the most value you can possibly pick? And these ones are just not screaming to me, pick them. So none of these. And let's move on to the next category. Finally, we got the last category here. Dark Spirit Soul, Four Winds Fistless, Warrior Reagan, Hollow Aegis Charlotte, and also Mystical Ice Lastwall. Notice how all of those are the Esper units. So yes, I recommend those ones in this category, but we're gonna put them all together in this next part here. So I know that I crossed off some of the other ones. As nice as those other ones that I crossed off are, I think that the ones that I didn't cross off are a little bit better. A little bit better for, especially for like Dark Visions and things like that. That's kind of what I also put into equation here, because a lot of time I'm still using Dark Spirit Soul and yeah, so that's why he's not crossed off. And let's move on. So now we have, oh, maybe I should make myself smaller. So I'm way in the corner. Can you see me? Hi. So yeah, I didn't want to get in the way of that. Anyways, so I shrunk it all down, and I made it look all nice. And these are the units that I kind of allow you to select, but I've shrunk this down even more. But if you want to just go off of this and click off the video, you can't go wrong with any of these picks. But who knows? Let's go through each. Yeah, let's go each and every one of them. So Folka, if you don't have Dr. Aiden, or you're a new player, I think a healer is probably like the best pick you would want to pick. A healer makes it so you can actually start doing things in the game. And Folka's latent abilities are quite good for her, and her enhancements are still good. She's not the best healer in the game, but she's still pretty good. So Folka, who knows when her latent abilities are gonna ever come? Who knows? But yeah, Folka. Sacred Shield Charlotte, she's getting her enhancements now. She'll have dual cast. She'll have, you know, a lot of other kind of buffs and things. I mean, she's still as strong as she always was. So if you don't have Cecil and you were just hoping to get Cecil and you never get one, and you're stuck with Charlotte, now you can enhance her. Now she's gonna be quite good for you. So Sacred Shield Charlotte is definitely one of those ones you probably want to consider. Next, Axstar. Axstar, his enhancements are very good, but he really needed to combo with his latent abilities, which make him even better. He gets a new move that's really strong, and it powers up his other stacking move. So for short fights, you can just do 3 times of the new move, or in older fights, you can just, I mean, not older fights, like longer fights, you can just use the one move, the new move, and then start stacking up damage with that stacking damage move that was his main move back in the day. And it still is pretty much his main move. So Axstar, only if he gets his latent ability, it's kind of the same. He's kind of in the same boat as Volca, is kind of waiting for when that's gonna be. So with that being said, let's move on. Summerfina and Lid. So they got their Neovision version lately, not too long ago, and they are very strong. They have 84% breaks on demand, among a lot of other things like healing and all those kind of things that they used to always do. And in their Brave Shift form, they're more of a DPS. A little disappointing, but they're still, being in Lid, they're still good. It's just that their Brave Shift form is not really the best thing of all time, but their main form is pretty good for breaking. But you can also, they also have 120% water in peril that will help out your team. So there's that. Moving on. Dark Spirit Soul, very strong mage. The only problem that he has, number 1, his quad cast doesn't last very long, and 2, he has AoE chaining, which is not very good for Dark Visions anymore. But there's just not very many quad casting mages at the current time, so that's why he's here. And that's why I still use him in Dark Vision sometimes, and on the JP side still. Farwind's Fizzless, just a very, very strong mage. Some people recommend it. Some people said if I could recommend her S-Teamar, no. I don't think her S-Teamar is worth it on the grounds of really only she's using it, and maybe Ellie, but if you have her, you're probably just going to use it on her if you have it. So not a lot of mages are going to want to equip guns, sadly. As nice as it sounds, just it's not going to happen. So unfortunately, her S-Teamar is just not worth it. So I would not go for the S-Teamar at least. Or here Reagan or Raiden. Very, very strong just in general. Very, very strong damage dealer in the regular game and in Dark Visions. He's both. Just he can do any kind of element. He can just equip any element because he has non-elemental main chaining, so he doesn't have to imbue. In Dark Vision, you can just give him whatever weapon you want. He has a pretty good weapon selection. So with that being said, Warrior Reagan is definitely one of the top picks I think you will want to go for. Next, Hollowed Aegis Charlotte. She's a little lower on the list, but she can cover for both. But she's mainly focused on physical covering, and physical covering isn't really that needed. There is only a few instances where you actually want to do physical cover. One of them is the Master Cool Rule, where you want a physical cover on the first turn, and then you know, interchange between a few turns here and there. And then the other one is where you want a physical cover completely, is the two-headed dragon extreme version. Those are the only two examples that I can remember off the top of my head that you actually need physical cover for. So if you don't value physical cover that much and you don't really need it and you have Warrior of Light 5-star version, you really don't need her. Lastly, Mystical Ice Lastfall, just a very strong ice damage dealer that could be in Dark Visions. Takes a little tiny bit of time to get going, but then after that he starts dealing really good damage. But like I said, we can squinch this down even further. It's a little bit more. It's really hard to decide after this part though. So I've cut down a few units, and these are really what things that I would consider. If you watch all the way to the end of this video, these are the units that I would highly consider picking overall. The other page is fine. You can go for that page too. You can go back and look at the other page that we just went from the previous slide. But this is like to the detail, things that I just value maybe just a little bit more. It's like judging, like going to a judging, you know, thing, and I'm a judge and I'm being very critical, and it's very down to the wire. This is it's hard, but you can't go wrong with these picks. You can't go wrong with any of these picks. So if you need any of these units, or you're a new player, if you're a new player, wow, that's amazing. I can't imagine being it's so hard to imagine being a new player and getting a 7-star unit, but it's here, it's happening. If you're just starting out, you can't go wrong with any of these picks, seriously. At least the ones that I picked. Don't pick any of the ones that I crossed off. You're gonna be sorry later. But yeah, all these units will be good either for Dark Visions or just in general for regular gameplay. So I think that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I try to be as critical as possible for you guys, because I know that some of you guys are struggling to find something you want to pick, and I really sat down and said, what can we do here? So these is all my opinion, of course. As always, you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but you probably wouldn't be this far in the video if you didn't care that much about my opinion. You probably care at least a little bit. But with that being said, if you watch all the way through to the end of this video, make sure to type in hashtag, what should it be? Hashtag list. Hashtag list will be the keyword for I think in this video. Please give a like if you liked it. Please give a dislike if you disliked it. And if you have any further questions, don't be afraid to type them down below in the comments. That'll be it though. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.